should you have known before you became a BIM engineer that would have helped you on your projects and work itself?
I think that being is not the solution for everything
Yeah, true.
because because from the beginning, everyone says that with being you can solve everything. You are going to have all the information there with a 3D model. But that was the first idea. But when I was immersed in this world, I see that that's not totally true. If you want some kind of information, you have to say some kind of things. You're going to have as much information according to according to your level of detail. So in the beginning, I would like to know that because it was like I was walking and I crashed with a wall.
Yeah, yeah.
So so that's what I would like to. 2 years ago, someone tell me if you wanted to implement this, so you have to know these things after trying to sell it to a client.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's for me like the misconceptions or the common narratives around BIM is I think the it's very dependent of the like tool providers. Like what kind of tools and softwares you have is always the limitation of the BIM itself. And that's why even though we would have these amazing 3D models with information and everything, it really requires that third party of software vendor who can enable, for example, the workforce. Let's say that they are making some water pipes or something, that they would immediately know that when the water pipe is at the right height. Something like this, it always requires like the whole ecosystem to grow into that specific level before we can really utilize BIM for everything. I think it's let's say maybe 50 years, maybe then we can say BIM. What would you say then, like for the people who are interested to learn BIM and get inside like this kind of like BIM engineer job positions? What would be the tips? What would you give? What they need to learn to excel in your job?
If they wanna be a big engineering,
Yeah,
well, I only say that they have to first be focused on technology and trying to see as much things as they can about because here in Peru at least is Autodesk company all that we have only that Bentley all plan they don't know about they don't know much about it. But so I say some tips is try to study other programs, other methodologies that we can try to implement with B. Because B could be good for the projects, but it's not the only way. A project has many roads to follow, and we have to take one, and maybe it's a ground road with a lot of ground. We need to make it a road of concrete. So how can we make that change? Studied a lot, trying to exchange ideas with other professionals, see the experience of the projects, try. One thing I said, I have studies of project management that help me to make a better control of a modeling. Also, I have studies in infrastructure that changed me the mind that how I see the idea of a project. For example, the typical idea of being you have architecture, structure, and MEP. But what happened with topography? That where it, topography where is in a great area of being modeling in architecture, in structure, or MEP. They don't they can topography don't join to that group, so we have to see that there's more areas to try to integrate a modeling. So we have to open our closed circle. That's the idea. I say study, experience, try to see further than the professor says, and try to study a little project management. Is going to help everyone a lot because you see how to communicate with all the persons involved in a project, some of cost, some of planning, a little of production, and all that knowledge you can join to be. And if you make a successful model with the idea of project management, any manager is going to buy your idea and is going to invest in that. And if you have money to invest, you are going to be able to use more technology that is going to help you have more detailed information. Because, for example, when I entered to COSAPI, that is where I work 2 years ago, we work with GPS. Now we are working with the laser scanner of Trimble TXA, and we are earning 1 day of work in the field, and we have more detail in our information. 2 years ago, with GPS, we have the detail of the surface, only the surface, the ground surface. Nowadays, we have the detail of the ground surface and all the existing buildings, all the trees, with less effort in the field, but more effort in the office center. We have to make the information process.
Yeah, I mean it's I think it's interesting world for people who are working in BIM because it feels like it's like a endless rabbit hole of learning. Like even though if you would understand everything of infrastructure designing and how to make those models, you still then there's the surfaces and which surfaces are like strong ground or do they need some special digging and a structure designed to support the road and everything like this. It's like an endless rabbit hole of learning. I think that's one of the things what I really love in this industry because you are trying to connect every different special areas together and make the work models for the construction that they can then much more better clarity do what they need to do. They don't need those different 8 or 10 different experts to have their opinion, but they would have just one model that tells everything that they need to understand to make it work and build it once and never need to like repair some parts of it. And I mean it's yeah, what you said, a big list of things, and I think it's essential to understand at least all of these different parts to really support the team who is building the roads or then designing the roads.